Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here is with me Istifadah, and my student number is 19180015. Here I would like to present about my mid-term examination of English poetry result. Here I would like to talk about three contents. The first is about the poetry itself, and then the second is the meaning. The elements of the poetry, and then the third is the meaning interpretation of the poetry. The first we talk about the poetry that I made by myself. The title is Beautiful Creature. I would like to read it aloud. In a calm summer, so I am a living soul, coach me right away. Down the sun he was, standing on the edge of lake, fascinating eyes. Like a cheer-up swan, call me with his dancing hair, so beautiful him, with a 5 feet tall, standing in a light. The kind of poetry that I made is haiku. Haiku is traditional Japanese poem, and it is usually about nature or season. However, here I combine the nature with an imagery of a creature. So here I describe a creature in the poetry with a combination of the nature. And then this kind of quote is a short lines or 3 lines, which sometimes called triplets or tercet. The structure in every stanza is 575 syllables. So the line of every stanza is 575 syllables. Then the elements of the poetry. The first is the rhyme. From this poetry there is no rhyme because that is the basic rule of the haiku itself. And then for the repetition, there is one repetition that I made in this poetry. That is in the last line of the third stanza and the first line of the fourth stanza. That is namely, so beautiful him. This repetition is intended to strengthen what the reader wants to describe. So here I am strengthening what I want to describe. And then there are some figurative language in this poetry. Those are simile and personification. Simile is one of a figurative language that is describing something using the word like or as. And in this poetry, we can see in the line like a cheer up swan. And then there's also personification. Personification is describe something unlively become living soul. That is dancing hair. And then there's also alliteration. Alliteration is the same beginning of the sound. There are 2 alliteration here. Those are so and cove, and then standing and fascinating. We can see it in the second stanza. Down the sun he was, standing on the edge of lake, fascinating eyes. Standing and fascinating. Let's talk about the imagery. The imagery is a vivid description of the line using 5 senses such as touch, sight, sound, smell, and taste. And then here I just give you one example in one stanza. Those are in a calm summer. It is sound sense. This because the antonym of calm is violence or storm. So it's about sound. And then so I am a living fool. This is the sight sense because there is the word so. And then the third is coach me right away. This is the touch sense because there is a word coach. And then for the symbolism, here I just use one symbolism in my poetry. That is the word swan. In the third stanza, that means grace, beauty, love, trust, and loyalty. Swan symbolism is also linked to inner beauty. So here I want to describe how the inner beauty looks like from the creature that I am describing. For the stanza, there are 4 stanzas in this poetry, and every stanza contains of 3 lines. Every line contains of 575 syllables because this is the rules of haiku itself that we can see in the slide. In a calm summer, so I am a living soul, coach me right away. In a calm summer, those are 5 syllables. So I am a living soul, 7 syllable. Coach me right away, 5 syllable. And every stanza of 4 stanzas, this having 575 syllables. Slide, we talk about the meaning interpretation. This poetry describe an admiration of a man that I had once seen in the edge of lake from a distance. Jadi pada puisi ini saya menggambarkan kekaguman saya pada seorang pria yang pernah saya lihat sekali di tepi danau, dan itu saya melihat sekali dari kejauhan. That we can see in the poetry, I use the word see, not look. Jadi dari kejauhan, and then I just admire him at the first sight, something like that. Okay, thank you. I think that's all of the presentation of my mid-examination result. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.